Okay, so today we're going to kind of discuss a word that I've heard a lot on the news lately from professionals that get on and share their opinions. And I've heard them, and it's been very conflicting of what I'm hearing. I hear professionals say herd immunity, it's good, it's important. Others say herd immunity is not good, it's not helpful, it's not the right way to go. There's others saying herd immunity will not help us. I mean, I've heard all kinds of things about herd immunity, but what I haven't heard is for the general population, what is herd immunity? What does that mean? If it's good, why is it good? If it's bad, why is it bad? But the problem is these news clips, people only take, less than 5 seconds to give their 2 cents, and then they're cut off and on to the next story. And even if they've spent more time, a lot of the problem with the medical profession is they talk above a lot of our heads, and it's hard for people to understand it. So anybody who's following me, if anybody is, you know that I am frustrated by that. And so I like to simplify it. So today I am going to simplify herd immunity, and I'm going to explain what it is so that there's no confusion about it anymore. So we all know that we have something called the immune system within our bodies. What a lot of people don't know, you'd be surprised. A lot of people do not even know where the immune system is, where it's being created, how it's working. And they don't need to feel bad about it because they didn't go to medical school. And the immune system can be very, very difficult to understand. So I will maybe on a future tape break it down in an easy way to understand it, like I tried to do with my medical students. But today I want to talk about herd immunity. So let me explain the immune. I'm going to just touch tiny bit on the immune system, which is the immune system that we are all born with. Now, there's always exceptions to every rule. We know that there are some people who are born with a very compromised immune system, which means they probably can get sick very easily. And that is very rare, by the way. That is not as common as someone might lead you to believe. But it does exist, and there are those people that have that. But most people are born with a pretty healthy immune system and can have that immune system serve them well for a very long time. And just like anything, as you age, the immune system becomes tired and weak if it has not been properly fed, and or just it begins to get old like the rest of the body. So herd immunity is first we have to know it's related to the immune system, to your individual immune system. That's who it's related to. So when people say, well, we need herd immunity, you have to stop and say, okay, that means something has to do with me, my immune system, my strength. So if somebody says we don't need herd immunity or it's not good for you, they are not being honest with you, because you do need your immune system and you do need it to protect you. Having said that, now you will be able to look at anybody in the face and say, wait a minute, what do you mean herd immunity isn't good? Herd immunity is my immune system. So please don't tell me that that's not good. You're not good for saying it, okay? Herd immunity is simply your immune system protecting you. Now, back in November and January, a lot of people got really sick. I mean, had a really bad flu. And there is a really good chance that a lot of Americans did, in fact, get infected way back then from the coronavirus. And the reason we know that is because there have been so many people who have said, I was really sick back in January, or I was really sick back in November or December of 2019. Because remember, when did the coronavirus start? When did they figure it out? It's called COVID-19. So a lot of people will tell you, yeah, I was really sick. And there's a good chance they had COVID-19. And every time you watch the news and you hear, this many people have been tested, they're positive, oh my gosh, we've had all these positives. Can I just tell you, my friends, a positive COVID diagnosis, I'm going to get letters. I don't know, you don't write letters, right? You do that little like thing or dislike thing. It means nothing to me. But nonetheless, I'm going to say the truth, because in my opinion, the truth will set you free. And every time you hear that the coronavirus has spiked, COVID-19 is going up in numbers, more people are testing positive than ever before, or whatever they're saying, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, she said. How is it a good thing? It is a good thing. In fact, I'm even going to say it's a great thing. We should be applauding when we hear numbers of people testing positive. The number that we don't want to applaud, and the number that we should be very fearful of, is how many have died from getting COVID. Well, we know that the number of deaths have gone down, and yet the number of people testing positive have gone up. So let me explain this. Being positive for COVID is good. Dying from COVID is bad. More people are testing positive for COVID, being told they have to quarantine, and then before you know it, another breakout of COVID, and everybody goes, oh, you've had the COVID. Yes, I had the COVID. I want to get a t-shirt that says, I've had the COVID, I survived. Your chances of surviving COVID too are really good. I do not in any way dismiss or downplay those who have truly suffered and died of COVID. And here's why. When I worked at the hospital, and there was an influenza that came out called H1N1. They were having to make a special N95 masks, and it was a big deal. What made that virus so frightening is it literally was killing young people and children. It might not have killed it might not have been infecting as many people as the COVID-19 is, but it killed a lot of people. I didn't see y'all wear masks back then. And I don't hear anyone ever saying anything about it. Do you think that H1N1 just disappeared? No, it didn't disappear. It's mutated, and it's now called the flu, influenza. And it's mutated, and they tell you get your flu shot, and then they hope that that shot will be the one that will cover that mutation for that virus for that particular influenza. So the H1N1 was then downgraded to what we call the flu. Is it still dangerous? More people now have an immunity to it, a herd immunity. So we don't hear about it as much anymore because of that. COVID-19, the more people that get it, the more have what we call a herd immunity to it. And the more people that get it creates a bigger herd immunity. And the more people that have herd immunity, the more we're able to protect ourselves and our people that are weak from it. You think, what? How is that possible? Because like any virus, when it no longer is deadly to our bodies because our immune systems have learned to attack it, it no longer becomes a big threat. If what I'm saying isn't true, then explain to me, how did the bubonic plague just disappear? Herd immunity. H1N1. AIDS. We ended up getting, now let me make this clear. AIDS didn't disappear, my friends. It's still out there. We have better therapeutics and prophylactics to treat it, but there's no cure for it. That will be the same for the COVID-19. We have no cure for viruses, but if it enters into your body and your body does what it does best, and I'm telling you, your body is like a freaking machine of crazy, it will destroy that virus. We'll talk about how crazy your immune system really is on another time, when we can talk about your immune system is like, when it goes to war, let me just put it this way, it'll kill everybody, even you, if it has to survive. And it still won't survive because it killed the host, which is you. But the immune system will kill. That's what it does. The NK cells come out and they will kill. And they will kill until that virus is dead. If they have to bring a temperature up to 110, they will do it. I'm exaggerating, of course. But I'm making the point that your immune system is what is saving you. If you put a mask on a child who is not having a bad reaction to this virus, you are only delaying things for that person, that child. You are delaying it. And here's the thing. And again, I'm challenging any medical professional to tell me what I'm saying isn't true. If this virus is mutating like they're saying that it is, that means whatever vaccination you gave your child, you're going to have to give them another one and another one and another one in hopes they won't get the virus because you didn't let them just get it when it came out. So then they're going to live in fear for the rest of their lives, just like chickenpox, okay? Chickenpox, we're like, oh, if an adult gets chickenpox, they'll probably die. If a little kid gets chickenpox, they move on. Everybody's good, right? Same thing's going on here, guys. Pretty much exact same thing. Now there's always, this is why the community, the healthcare community doesn't like to say anything, because there's always an exception to every rule. There's always the one person who says, well, everybody has that exception. And nobody wants to say, well, I'm sorry, but that's the exception to what the rule is. But I'm not going to. I'm an instructor and I instruct on facts. There is an exception to every rule. But the facts are still the facts. And the facts are children are not dying in great numbers of coronavirus. And it isn't because you're masking them. I guarantee you, go to the store, you tell me how many of those little kids you really see wearing their masks correctly. Just yesterday, I'm at the store. This little boy took his mask down so he could sneeze and cough and wipe it all over his hand. And then I saw him reaching for stuff on the shelf. And he put his mask back on. If this were a true pandemic, children would be truly getting sick in large numbers because kids are not keeping their masks on the way that the medical system is telling them they need to. Look around at them. Most kids have one way too big. The ones that have ones covering their entire face, they're pulling at them constantly. And I would say the majority of children I've seen wear them around their mouth. Unless their parents look at them, then they try to put them back up high. And that's reality, brothers and sisters. That just is. This is not my belief system. This is fact. So children have what's called an innate immunity. And that immunity protects them. And so for them to get this virus while they're young, trust me on this, and I challenge any medical professional to deny me what I'm saying. If a child gets this virus while they're young, they're better off than getting one when they're older. Your immune system gives you strength. And even though the virus mutated, your immune system's freaking smart. And it can detect and say, hey, look, wait a minute, we still recognize you because you've still got those crowns. And we remember the crowns, which we talked about on a previous video of what the virus looks like. We can identify the virus, even if it mutates, we can identify it by the crowns. Well, guess what? So can your immune system. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it, and I don't care what anyone else says to me. Block, dismiss, that's all I'll do. Take the masks off your children. Stop.